I might not agree with you. That's okay, right?
I guess we're already on here, and yeah, we're disagreeing already about this topic, so this is a good one. I'm Pam.
I'm John.
And we're not done yet. And although maybe after studying phenomenology we are, I have to say I'm the guilty party here. We're going to talk about phenomenology. Oh, right now there's a football game on, but we're going to turn that off.
Okay.
We're going to talk about phenomenology. Now, how did we come to talk about phenomenology, John? Do you know?
Not guilty. It's all Pam's idea.
Somewhere, somehow, I saw the word. And the place I saw the word, it was associated with Sartre. And I thought, and that's really what got me. Well, he's famous. He's a philosopher. Let's look at this. Well, the truth is that I looked at a whole bunch of stuff about phenomenology, and he's one of many people who have a position on it. Oh, we forgot to do this. See, I'm so anxious, I forgot.
Here's to us.
Yes, to us, my dears.
And to you. All right.
So, he's not the one who first thought it up. It was a guy whose name starts with an H, which I can't remember right.
Yeah.
It should be in that article, maybe. Anyway, the funny thing that happened, though, getting ready for this, I was going to tell John and all of you at once. We have a really hard time. Well, I wanted to be able to hold the word up, and you could see how to spell it and what it looks like, because it's basically phenomenon with, phenomena is where phenomenology comes from. So you can sort of put it together. So I made a PowerPoint to help me sort of organize my thoughts about it. And the first slide is phenomenology that I could hold up to. And when I held it up to the camera, it was backwards. So I go, oh yeah, of course. So I sit down and I write it out backwards in letters. And you know what? It still comes out backwards. So I might be old, and that's why I can't figure this out. But, knowing myself through my life, I don't think I would have ever been able to figure this out. So how do you do it?
Well, I don't know, because the eye that looks left from here is really my right.
Right. Okay. See, that's backwards, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so all I did was write it out the way I should. Okay.
Just read it.
Anyway, no, I'm not going to read. I'm going to read as little as possible.
Good.
What I get about phenomenology is that it's a first person perspective about things. And I think phenomena is a derivative of the Greek word for thing. Maybe I read that somewhere. But so things that are all agreed upon, like the scientific basis of the atomic bomb, or why milk curdles, those things don't fall within the boundaries of this philosophic genre of phenomenology. It's things that are from the first person, from the person who's doing the seeing. And one of the key concepts in phenomenology is intentionality. Now, when I think of intention, I think about the sort of common, a little bit highbrow use of the word now about how I make intentional decisions. I relate to the new person in the building in an intentional way, meaning for me it might have been, I'll bring a hot dish, I'm going to tell them where they can get certain things or what's in the neighborhood, because I care. I'm intentional about the action of meeting the neighbors. That's really not what intentionality is. And this is boring.
No, go ahead.
What intentionality is in the philosophical sense. In the philosophical sense, if I'm remembering this correctly, it's the difference between, it's the reality that when we don't just see things, we don't see we see something. And it's what we perceive or think or wonder about what we see. That's phenomenology. Now, just before or while the camera was coming on and I didn't even know it, John was saying what you were saying. Do you remember?
No.
He was saying that if you're talking about the tree, a tree is a great example.
Can I give that
Yes,
example?
please do.
Okay, a tree. If you objectively look at a tree, there's something that's true for most people that look at the tree. You know, the variety of tree, whether it's an elm or a maple or an oak, that's pretty concrete. The size of the tree, you can say it's a big oak tree or a small oak tree. And so there's physical descriptions of the tree that most people would agree with. But then there's also your experience with a tree like that. If, say, you grew up with an oak tree in your yard and you used to climb it all the time, and one time you fell out of the oak tree and you hurt yourself, you have a negative remembrance of the oak tree. And that's what
Phenomenology
is about. It's about your experience with the tree.
Yes.
Rather than the objective properties of the tree that most people would agree on.
Yes, but
Okay.
I agree. And
Okay.
so for most of the research time that I was doing research, that's how I see it. And I have slides in my little PowerPoint that I may tack onto this video when it's uploaded, but I won't be using. That's exactly, the tree is the example, and that's pretty much it. But in doing some more research, I was shocked to hear that some of what you said is phenomenological. Like the tree is big, you believe the tree is big. I may think the tree isn't big. So the circumference can be measured, and we can't argue about the circumference. And if there was a tree trimmer there and they were putting the basket up, they could tell us exactly how tall it was. But it would be up to you or me to decide if that height and what we're seeing is big or medium or small.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Oh, sure.
And I was surprised when I saw that, because I was thinking in the initial phase, and I'm the one that we talked about it a lot, that it was the emotions or and it still is your experience, but it's not necessarily just past experience, it's your experience of the object in front of you. That's a big tree. And that's not the objective statement.
I think you're muddying.
No, I'm not, because this was from Stanford University, their philosophy center or whatever, and it was an article, and they said, to begin an elementary exercise in phenomenology, consider some typical experiences one might have in everyday life, characterized in the first person. So, I see that fishing boat off the coast as dusk descends over the Pacific. I hear that helicopter whirring overhead as it approaches the hospital. They say that's the most basic phenomenology. Is that, and those aren't the sorts of things we thought it was at the beginning of studying.
No, I don't agree with you. I think the most basic is the physical attributes of what you're looking at.
But the objective ones. And
those are objective.
The tree is 20 feet tall is objective. That's a really big tree. That's that's not objective. That's what you see when you see the tree.
Okay, the fact.
And it doesn't matter.
Yes, it matters a lot. I think you're confusing.
I'm not. I'm
people.
Actually then Stanford University is confusing people.
That could be.
But there are different. You have to really think about this, John, and you haven't had a chance to think about it because I just discovered this morning. But anyway, So it's two different things. It's anything. It's your perspective. And
based on your experience.
Yes, but that's okay. And your perspective on that is that that's a big tree. Now, and let's say I only grew up where there were small trees. Well, I might say that's a ginormous tree. And you'd say, it's only 10 feet tall. That's not so tall. It's not a big tree. It's a small tree. And we're both, that's how we're experiencing the tree differently.
No, I think you're really going off on a
Well, like
on a
I said,
trail that's
Stanford
not
University.
pertinent, really.
Okay, here's another example they gave. I walk carefully around the broken glass on the sidewalk. They say that's phenomenological perspective. I am searching for the words to make my point in conversation. That you're searching. You are searching for something, and you will know when you've found it because it's unique to you. I'm just telling you what I read. Okay. So I guess it really doesn't matter. I started out thinking it was only sort of emotional connections that we have to the things we're seeing. But in reading a little more, I found that it could also be what we could see as objective, but it's not a shared objectivity. Not every person who looks at that tree is going to say it's a big tree. Every person, however, could agree that it's 20 feet tall when someone shows them the measuring.
Well, I really think you're making this a lot more, I don't think.
No, I'm trying to make it more simple.
Okay, can I read something?
Sure.
Okay. Imagine you and a friend are walking through the park and you see a large old oak tree. In objective view, which is the opposite of
phenomenological,
is that you describe the tree in scientific terms. Its species, whether it's oak, maple, elm, willow, its height and circumference, and you can estimate those, it doesn't have to be exact, and the makeup of its wood and its age. These are facts that would be the same for any observer.
Right, the height, the specific height.
You know, you're getting hung up on that.
No,
but okay.
Well, I think, it doesn't, go ahead.
Okay, so that's the objective view, and that's not phenomenological.
Okay.
Okay. A phenomenological view would focus on your unique experience and your friend's unique experience, if there's two of you together, of the tree. Your perception, you might see the tree and feel a sense of comfort and nostalgia, remembering playing under a similar tree as a child. To you, it's a symbol of security and happy memories. Your friend, on the other hand, their perception might see the same tree and feel anxious. Perhaps they had a negative childhood experience involving a tree, and to them it represents danger. You know, maybe they fell out of it.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Okay, to me that's pretty clean and simple.
But that's one way that phenomenological thinking or philosophy is described, or an example of it. But as one thing, if I also found in the research that I did, was there are so many different perspectives and sort of avenues that different philosophers have taken about it. And another, I do think though, and it took me a while. In fact, when I first read those things about the boat on the Pacific and all that, I thought, oh, these are objective. But then when I really read what the philosopher or the writer who was putting this together was thinking, then I got it. And this is the most basic, because there are things that if it's raining, it's raining. Or no, I wish that warm rain, I'm wishing the rain. Well, that's an easy one. I guess if I just go back to the seeing the boat on the water one. Now I might know that it's not a fishing boat, or I might say something else. But let's just say that we can disagree on this, since neither one of us is a philosopher, and we could both be just totally dead wrong because, we're just winging this. But the real question we've both been struggling with this week is, why the hell does this matter? Why is anybody interested in phenomenology?
Amen.
Well, do you have any ideas?
No. I think it's crazy.
Well, the same person in this one article I read said the why it's important is that, we see something. And when you really take it from the first person, the individual's perspective, you start to learn the individual. Let's say I see, what would I say? I don't know. I see a very bright pillow with geometric designs on sitting in the maroon chair over there. But I'm trying, see, it's hard to make it out.
Did you have a bad experience with a pillow?
No, I like the pillow. I bought the pillow.
No, but a pillow in the past, you're being objective. It's a medium-sized chair pillow.
Yeah.
With different colored, strange shaped designs in it. That's a physical.
That's an objective
description of it. I think you could agree with that. I could agree with that. But I don't know what it means to your memory. Maybe you had bad experiences with pillows.
Right. That's one way that phenomenology would look at it. But I was also trying to actually get to the point they were making about why it's important. I guess when you start thinking about why do you see what you see. Now I'm going to see what my mind wants me to see at that, looking at that. And when I start to think about that, it gives me a better idea of how I connect with the world around me.
Okay.
I don't know. It's probably way over our heads.
Well, okay. I'm just going to say one more thing. We're talking about the tree, and when my daughter was small, young, we had a tree next to our driveway. I think it was a maple tree. And my daughter she was more into kind of artistic stuff and music when she was, 6, 7, 8 years old, quite young. And she wasn't athletic. She didn't really like sports. I tried to play catch with her, and that usually ended badly with her getting hit with the ball before she put her glove out to catch the ball. And so, but one day I came home, and she had climbed this tree. I was shocked. She's sitting up there in the tree reading a book. And I thought, my God, how did she, she doesn't seem to be very athletic or anything. How did she climb the tree? Well, she figured out how to climb the tree and sit up on a big limb, up, 15 feet up the tree, and sit there and enjoy reading her book. And there was a concrete driveway below, and I should have been extremely concerned about her falling and hitting her head on the concrete driveway. But I was so thrilled that she climbed the tree and was comfortable sitting up there that I didn't want to tell her to get down, because I thought it was a real triumph. So when I see a tree now, I experience both the objective view, what type of tree it was, how big it is. And then I also have that memory of my daughter being in a tree and making me feel very proud that she could climb up that tree and sit and read in it. So I don't know, I see it both ways. When I see a tree, I think of both things. I think objectively of the characteristics of the tree.
The characteristics that you see.
Oh boy.
Because
no, the characteristics that everyone would see.
Oh. The thing that's happening here, I think, is that you're trying to compare. And I do believe the only objective fact about the height of the tree is how tall it is with a measuring tape or whatever they use.
Okay, let's see, you measured it, so you know how tall the tree is.
Yeah.
And your buddy's next to you there, and he agrees the measurement was right. So then you agree on the objective facts about the tree.
Yeah.
It's 20 feet high. So get that out of the way.
You don't have to, well, but what this
But
is
his
about,
experience with a tree, whether it's 20 feet high or 30 feet high or 10 feet high.
yeah, it's another layer, another level of
It isn't another
phenomenology.
layer.
Yes, it is.
That's
That's not
phenomenology.
the only way it's
The
defined.
other way is an objective view of the
Only
tree.
as if it is an objective fact. And saying a tree is big or a tree is short, that's not objective. That's a subjective opinion.
Okay, if you each have a measurer, you gotta know.
It's still objective.
Oh boy.
Anyway, we're going to do our own little thing. The point here, and I did want to make this point too, researchers study this, and they study this like they did a study with nurses after COVID and their experiences. Well, they'll use, and that from a phenomenological standpoint. So not how many hours they worked, how tired they were, how many deaths they saw, but you'll love this, how they felt. And I love it too, because I'm all about the feelings. And then they'll look across the spectrum and put those together to find, are there common emotions or common assumptions that are made about that, whatever, that experience. Anyway.
Okay.
And I guess we need a philosophy. I think what the point that's been made really clear by our disagreements here, and I don't disagree with most of what you said. I think it's just that there are lots of different ways of looking at this, and philosophers that have spent years and dedicated their whole careers to this don't agree about it all either.
Well, there's some.
But you want to tell them.
There are some philosophers who think it's, I don't
only
want to use
the
the word
feeling.
stupid, but they don't think it really contributes much to the different schools of philosophy.
And I don't know if it does or not. I really don't have an opinion about whether it does or not. I was just interested in the word. I think it's pretty amazing. And once you know how to say it, it's pretty fun to say it.
Yeah.
And I think it was interesting to know that this is an area that's studied, that's used as a basis for research, that many, many philosophers have addressed since the early 1900s, when this was first put forth by the guy whose name starts with an H. Okay, we're going to do a little phenomenological exercise. I have a couple of National Geographics here, and I'm going to open to a picture. And remember, this isn't about comparing our reactions to the picture. It's about our a first-person reaction to the picture.
Yeah,
what we see. Go ahead. No.
Well, there can be two. I mean, you can be objective and talk about whatever we're looking at objectively, its characteristics that you see, and that should be similar to what I.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about your unique perspective, whatever that is.
Okay, that's phenomenal.
If you say it's tall, that's phenomenological. If the magazine says it's 300 feet tall, that's.
I don't think tall. Okay.
I'm just telling you.
Tall isn't a good example.
I'll send you a copy of the article, because you hadn't seen that one. Okay. I'm just going to pick a page. I'm not going to do any choosing.
Wow.
Well, that
doesn't look like a good
That's not a good picture. Okay, you pick a page.
Well, I'm going to look through.
No.
Well,
that'll bias your reaction to it. That's what I was. There we go. Okay. We'll do this picture. It looks like a tent in the snow.
I think it looks like a tent in the snow.
Okay, we agree on that. That's the objective reality we'll agree to. What else does it bring forth in you?
Well, it's so barren and snowy there that I would think that it's people that are paid to be there, not people that went there.
Oh, interesting.
So I think it's maybe some scientists that are doing some research up at I don't know, North Pole, South Pole, wherever it's snowy and cold, and that's where they're living, is in those tents.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel like more power to them. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near there.
Yeah. Well, it certainly looks cold to me, and it looks gray, and gray is depressing. So I think I'd be sitting in that tent wishing I was a million miles away. And I agree that it's probably in some Antarctica or something, and you couldn't get 10 feet away. So I would feel hopeless, scared, and wondering where I'm going to pee.
So that most of what you said is phenomenological.
Oh, thank you for
But
proving.
what would be an objective view would to describe the tent. The shape
No,
of
or
the
even
tent.
just saying that it was a tent. We both agreed it was a tent. We
Yeah.
agreed there was a person in the tent. We agreed it's probably Antarctica based on the.
Okay.
You see?
All right.
Okay.
I'll let it go with that.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. All right. This looks like some sort of bird cage in a tree in the dark. There, I said some objective facts.
Yeah, I can't see it very well.
Okay. Would you agree that it's nighttime?
Ugh, God, there's rats or something down in the ground.
I think it's a possum, maybe.
They look like rats.
I'm hot.
I think it's a cage. Did
Yeah.
you see that?
Yeah, I think it's a cage
And
too.
there's a board set at an angle where they could climb up the board,
Mhm.
and then the rats and mice can climb right up trees. They could climb up there, and if there's some bait, they'd probably go in the cage, and then the door would shut. So it's a trap, is what I see.
And I imagine, or what it leads me to believe, that this is some sort of scientific study.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
And I really like the pattern in the bark on the trees. I love the pattern of bark on trees.
That's a good point.
And I imagine that the photographer or scientist is hiding in the bushes to see who climbs up the tree. You know, that's more animals down here, isn't it?
Yeah. There's more animals. They all look kind of the same.
Do you think the light is from the moonlight or from the photographer's lights?
Oh, I don't know really.
Me neither.
I don't know.
Let's see what it says. Conventional traps. I don't know.
Does it say for what kind of animal or anything?
It says serviced every 6 months, accelerating predator remove. Oh, they're trying to remove predatory
Just every
animals.
6 months they come for?
They get a little crowded in that box.
Man. Wow.
Okay, one more. And I don't really know what this conversation at this point is having to do with.
No, I don't know.
What we were talking about.
We apologize.
Yeah, but we're having a lot of fun. Okay, well, I know what this looks like to me, but I don't want to describe it. Very interesting. I'll tell you, well, I will describe what I can see. It looks like Puebloan structures like you'd find in New Mexico or somewhere, but there's palm trees and, fertile fields in the front.
Oh, well, let me see. Yeah. I don't think it's in New Mexico.
No, I looked up and I know where it
I would
is.
say it's maybe more like Chile.
It's Morocco, actually.
Oh, it's
So that is objective. That is not phenomenological.
Yeah. It looks kind of primitive, the buildings. So I don't know if it's an old discovery they've made. It doesn't look like it would be buildings they would have built in the last 100 years to me.
It looks like Santa Fe to me, and that's the way the houses look.
Well, they do, yeah, Santa Fe. Yeah, you're right. You lived there, you should know. But yeah, okay, well, yeah, okay.
How does it make you feel? Anything?
How does that make me feel? Well, I like that kind of terrain and everything. I mean, I like the high desert or whatever you would call it. So it makes me feel kind of good. Yeah. As long as the wind wasn't blowing. I have asthma, so if it was blowing dust around, I'd be
Yeah.
choking.
It looks, I think of heat when I look at that picture. That would
It
be
looks
hot.
dry.
Dry, that's right. Dry, hot, dusty. Could choke you.
Well, that's, but I kind of like the way it looks. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like being there.
And I'm not sure the point of all this, but I would encourage you, if you're interested in it at all, there's lots to be found online about phenomenology, and it sparked some conversation.
Well, it certainly did.
Yeah, you stubborn old coot, you. Here, Stanford University. John's writing you a letter. You're wrong.
What do they know?
Yeah, what do they know?
Well, yeah, okay.
What's the song tonight?
Oh, well, I think an appropriate song for this would be You Load 16 Tons, and what do you get?
Another day older and deeper in debt.
St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't come. I owe my soul to the company store.
Woo!
That's it.
Have a good one. See you
This was
next
hard
week.
work, yeah.
Bye.